Hello, this is the LEGO Elves, the Goblin King's Evil Dragon set. Now, bear with me for just a minute, if you will, as I go through the details of the small side build, the terrain build over on the left first, so I can come back and spend more time on the dragon. You see, this small, colorful scene really tells quite a bit of the story of this set, of what's really going on here. The Goblin King has sent one of his goblins down to steal a crystal, or to dig up a crystal. He's actually going to use dynamite or TNT here to blow up part of this beautiful scene. And this really does look nice, especially for how small it is. It has a lot of nice shaping around it with, the curves and the slope parts, and it's very colorful. They actually went with the bright green color here, not just the regular green, to accent against the lime green. Now the base down here is just a regular green. There's some water that's actually flowing out of the hillside here. There's a nice, this is actually a printed piece back over here, which gives you just a soft area with some moss or something, to sit in. That would be very nice. Got some cherries up above that can be picked to eat for the bears down below. We'll take a closer look at those. But this actually has an action feature built into it. This goblin is going to cause this to explode, and when he does, all those nice crystals here in the front that I think are responsible or connected to the water element and helping to cause some of the water to come out, those are all blown away, and all he cares about is just getting at this one here, just this green one. So that actually works quite well. It's very simple. There's just a piece on the inside that slowly moves up and pushes everything else out of the way. This goblin is going to steal this crystal and also kidnap the small bear. Look at that. That's so evil, so mean. Why did you have to take the baby bear as well? This is actually a nice build for such an evil thing that's being done with it. It's kind of a jail cell, a portable jail cell. It has a lock on the top of it, a padlock, and that can fit inside of it either the baby bear or the crystal. So if you want to kind of change the story a little bit and just have the crystal be stolen, then you can. This opens up from the sides. It has these kind of claw bits that open up, allow you to load and unload, and that will work on both sides. Good use of these relatively new parts as well. I like this. So then the Goblin King himself swoops in on his big old dragon and takes away the crystal and the young bear. This is a nice sized dragon, and yet it has good details and good posability and nice building, actual building structure. The process of putting it together feels cool, feels like you might be learning some things about some building techniques. It has good colors as well. Lots of the spring green color, that's the primary color of it, plus the wing tips have just a little bit of translucent area on them, so it gives you a little bit of more organic feel to them. This uses a combination of regular brick-based pieces as well as the large action figure style pieces like they've used on the larger Bionicle builds before and Hero Factory before that, including these two spring green pieces, the length 4 parts and the bone pieces beneath that. The head is using the same mold that we got already the year before, but they've also added in a tongue there. Has a slightly evil face to it. I don't know. They try to make this look really evil with the colors and the print for the eyes, but it still looks pretty majestic to me personally. Really nice use of relatively new pieces with this small kind of pyramid piece on the top, also in the bright green. They've used a nice amount of the gold to kind of highlight against the black on the back for kind of the hair or horn elements back there. Gosh, look at just how many different pieces they've included here in that spring green color, though. It's actually quite a haul to get all those parts. Nice curvature of the legs as well. I like what they've done here. They're a little bit hollow inside, but I like that shaping. It's also very stable. It's able to hold itself just like this perfectly fine. A little bit of arching on the back of the legs as well. Also very nice shaping there. I'm not sure so much about the red and the magenta colors together. I guess they work, but I think maybe it would have worked a little bit better if they'd chosen one, or maybe changed the proportions, or changed the relative amounts of those two colors. With the stability of this, you can bring it all the way back like this. You can lean it forward. There's not much else that you can do with the legs themselves because they have just a single joint in each. It's only able to rotate forward and back, but you also have the rotation down at the ankles, so the whole thing can be leaned forward a little bit. Let me see if I can do that with one hand. Yep, there we go. So it's actually off balance like this right now. It's too far forward. The toes, whoa, everything is falling. Let's see if I can bring this back to balance it a little bit. Nope, still not going to work. So it's more going to be, if we're bringing these farther forward, I think will be a little bit more useful. Yeah, there we go. That changes things up a little bit. Actually, it looks like it wants to either defend itself against an incoming attacker from the air, or maybe it's just begging for food if this is actually a young dragon. But you can move the toes up and down, and because they've used relatively new pieces for the attachment points for the toes, you can actually splay them apart. That's something that you could never do before. Normally the claws would be just all lined up like that, which looks fine, but it looks so much better to be able to open them apart, and it just gives you a little bit more posability, a little bit more that you can do to customize the look of the thing. Pretty well done, I'd say overall. Oh, also the tail. Lots of those twin spike pieces in black, and this is fully posable. All of those are ball joints in there, so you can really twist the tail around. You can coil it up and forward. Let me just zoom this all the way out so you can see the overall shape of this. Look at that. You can go full like scorpion with it. You can imagine that some kind of magical power would come out of this, or maybe it's actually even able to shoot spikes. You can curve it to one side or the other. You can do different things with kind of trying to show balance. If it's on the ground, if it's in the air, you can straighten it out a little bit. You've got plenty of room with the two ball joints for the wings to bring those in while it's on the ground, or if it's trying to look like it's dive bombing in the air, you can spread them way out. Look how far you can spread the wings. So lots that you can do with this in terms of posing it. A very good build. And then up on the top, they have kind of the saddle area, which uses a couple of stickers, one on either side. And I'll go ahead and take the Goblin King out to make that a little bit more apparent. It's very easy to put him in, but yeah, those are stickers on either side. But then this piece here in the center is actually a print, and they do give you a spare one of those in this set. So you always will have an extra, and they have the little pad in the back to hold on to the prison cell, and that can be easily removed. The Goblin King, I think, is a really cool looking figure, although perhaps a bit too genuinely happy looking. I would think that someone who would send in a goblin to blow up a beautiful crystal structure on the side of a beautiful hill just to get at another crystal, and then also have a baby magical bear kidnapped at the same time would be just more miserable in general. It sounds like stuff that a very miserable person would do. But this guy looks like he's actually enjoying his life. I really like the prints on the boots and also his top, kind of his vest. They've got that gunmetal gray in there and the gold. And then his crown element is actually dual molded in with the hair. So his hair is dark green, and then the crown is that pearl gold color, but they're all that is molded together. His ears are a part of the hair piece, and those are just colored on top, just painted on top. But lots of good stuff going on with that. Also, double-sided cape, and it's the newer style of cape that's very flowy. It's a really cloth-like piece that doesn't crinkle up easily, so you don't have to worry about taking this off to put them into the dragon. You just fold it however you want, and as long as it's not too tightly bunched together, it'll stay nice and flowy the way that you want. The goblin, I'm not as impressed by the shaping of the goblin. Well, maybe it's actually the printing, I think, for the head that I like the least there. It just has kind of a low level of detail relative to what you see on the mini dolls. I would have liked to see just an accent color, a darker lavender used in there. That particular goblin is called Gimblin, And he also has that printed piece that he's holding on to there, showing the crystal, the type of crystal that he's going to be stealing. No real print around the back. There is a hole right there where you can attach like a bow or something if you want to add a little extra accessory if you have one from Lego Friends or something. Similarly here, you can do the same with the Goblin King. And on the back of him, you see no additional printing. However, he does have the additional tattoo that's printed onto his left arm. And then here are the two bears. I think they're water element magical bears. On the left is the mother, who is going to be nicknamed Blueberry with the A in there. And on the right is Little Blue, the baby. Nice prints on the fronts of these, different colors used for them, but just single piece molds, parts that have been used before. The one on the left has been used as a polar bear cub, or just a bear cub in general with a different scale of sets. And the one on the right is more of a rodent kind of design, but I think it works out just fine in the scale what they've done. I think the prints work pretty well. So that dragon I think is really good. I think it may be the best build that they've done for a dragon in the Elves line so far. Color scheme might not be the best, but just how it's put together and how posable it is and yet stable, I think is very good. And then this small build over here on the side is surprisingly useful. And like I showed, it really helps to establish the theme of what's going on here and the story of the set. The action feature is integrated nicely. You can just leave off the TNT if you don't want to see that at all, and it still looks good. You can use a different scenario for retrieving that if you want to. You can actually have the elves come through and get to it before the Goblin King does. Use night as water element power to move the lever inside or to move the crystals. Different things that you can do. And even this cage, as cruel as it is a nice build. And you can use that just for the crystal. Leave the poor little blue alone. But it's just nicely done as a Lego set. The only thing that I don't particularly like is how they've designed the print for the Goblin here, but everything else is really good. Those are just my thoughts though. Please do share what you think about the set. What are your favorite elements from what you've seen here, and what do you like the least? Share your thoughts with myself and the other viewers by leaving a comment down below. I thank you for your time, look forward to your feedback, and I hope to have a chance to talk to you again very soon, because my next video is on the way. Bye for now.